Hi everyone, this is the Beer Watcher. It is February 24th, 2017, and I'm showing you today further evidence of the Sun simulator, and we are at the US Patent Office. I don't want to read to you this one line here because something I really thought about. I've been given evidence of something from the European Space Agency of this closed packed array reflector and what the purpose it serves with the Sun simulator. And hyperbolic reflector, and said lens means a second hyperbolic reflector mounted within the chamber, collecting and culminating light reflected from the closed packed array reflector. And so I'm going to show you a picture of this culminator. Let's first quick look at this. This is the Sun simulator. This is the light source, and in this US patent, the light comes from this, travels from this parabolic light reflector and bounces into this. And I believe this chamber here is none other than, behold, this object here. The light travels into this chamber and bounces. So this chamber here you're looking at, and you can tell this is ESA, European Space Agency. Okay, these guys working in space. What are they doing with the giant mirror reflector? Well, let's look at this patent again. Here is a more conceptualized drawing of it. This again is the light source, and this is the front facing. The disc is faced in the sideways, just like in the patent. I've talked about this before, but now in the new evidence, I sat on it for a long time and I couldn't figure out where it went. But this is where it fits in the puzzle. That object you saw is this here, going down this chamber and comes through this mirror here and bounces on what we see, the spinning Fresnel lens. So let's go back and look at some of this spinning Fresnel lens. So in this drawing here, actually, let me go back. I've also got a compilation of everything. So some of you have seen some of this and some of you haven't. So in this drawing here, I'm going to further exploit this spinning Fresnel lens. This is far more complicated. This is just showing the path of light. So in this is the black hole, the black dot that we see that spins. Yeah, it's spinning. Okay, so here's the black dot that we're seeing all over the internet. This is just a picture. Now let's watch a video. Hold on. Here we go. Now, some people like to argue and say that this was something on the camera, but watch this. We've been seeing the screen reflecting off of everything, buildings, objects, lake, like this one. So here's your dot. This is the spinning Fresnel lens. Now we can see it reflecting off the water. Nothing on the lens there. The camera's catching it off the lens. Now I've seen this off all kinds of objects. This is actually rotating. Now, there you have it. Okay, now the reason why it's rotating because it's cooled. It's got the heat source, the heat that the light generates creates a lot of heat, and it's very cold. And here is a FLR infrared. Now you can catch this almost any day from anywhere. Look at this thing. Can't be a sunspot. Sunspots just don't disappear, rotate, and move around like that. Nope. This thing is picking up the infrared, and there's something cool and rotating in front of the sun. Okay, white is hot, And this is cold. This is the temperature gauge, which is bouncing all over the place based upon the color that it sees. So I found that pretty compelling, and more evidence that it actually is rotating, because now people are confused. Now this sits in front of another lens system here, and here we can see this thing rotating in this time loop over Australia. This thing is basically, because it's a black hole, it helps disperse the light more evenly to try and cover up the black hole that it has. It's basically a cover up. If you just left not a spinning lighthouse lens in front of it, then you're going to see a more obvious hole to the naked eye. Now it's shattering light and spinning, throwing it around like a disco light. It's more tricky to the eye to not see it with the naked eye. That's all they want. So all smoke and mirrors. And over in here, we see the picture of the possible disk itself. And here we can also see it seeing the hexagonal sun, because the light source is hexagonal. And Chris Potter, if you're watching this, please feel free to pick this apart and put the physicist's thoughts on it. Let's work on this together. Doing a great job, Chris. So again, this was caught over the FA camera. We're seeing this more and more of this spinning Fresnel lens, and we get the lens system here that we get. Okay, so this is the lens array. We can see the lenses hovering in space. Now I believe Chris Potter had busted this open more, that we can see the light distortion of the red color, because the light source has a magenta red LED source mixed with it. It appears to be red because that's coming from the source, and we see the lenses here in space in a lower orbit. So these lenses are in a lower orbit, and the fake sun simulator is in a higher orbit. And again, we can see this oscillating, rotating, cooler lens system rotating as the sun sets over in Australia. And we can see how the light source, and thanks to Chris Potter and the physicist's thoughts, who discovered that this is now becoming more obvious in our skies, that this is being a bent lens system. That's why this square is convex. Now more proof. So with that all being said, let's look at the so in this picture, caught on a webcam in Austria, you can see again this curvature of this fake sun's light system, which is curved because it's behind a convex lens, bending it. And I got a theory, it's just a theory of why it's red. Now, some people have been spotted with their telescopes a green planet. And look over here, we actually have green coming off this thing, right? Why is that green? Well, in this color red here, the color red would block as a perfect block for the color exactly 180 degrees out of phase with that color green, the green planet. Are they hiding something green in the sky? That's my theory. But I just thought I'd put that in there real quick. So why, you ask, is there a fake sun simulator? Well, my theory is, and I believe it beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I have seen these halos, and when they come, the light level drops, and there's no more heat during a full eclipse. So I say this again and again, it is here to hide the unexpected multi-planet solar eclipses. The unexpected ones, not the ones from our moon, but from this massive planet When you watch this thing, and if you've been watching my videos, look at the comment sections, read it for yourself. I'm not making this stuff up. So this is supposed to be a rare event. Now, some of you may say this is just an ordinary sun halo from ice crystals. Nah, these are chemtrails. But, I'm not even going to argue with that right now because you can't explain the drop of light in this huge halo. And why the pinched off light? Because another planet here. Sam Hoffman, he has a channel. I'll see if I can find a link to his channel. The only problem is he doesn't believe in the fake sun. So believe in what he's got to say about this eclipse of the sun, then why aren't we seeing the eclipse? Because if that's a planet, where is the sun if it got eclipsed? Well, it's here. You can see in this picture here, it's a little lopsided though. So it's not perfectly right with it. So I was going to measure the radius from this, but I can see that it's different here. You can see it's offset. This whole thing is a planetary shadow with the light of the actual sun coming from the atmosphere of the planet behind it. The atmosphere of the planet behind it acts as mirrors that will bounce the light through and around the planet onto the backside of the sun simulator. And so I had gone through the archives on this, and let's just look at the progression of this. Here it's a little more difficult to see that it was captured on October 16th, and we can see the beginning of this halo here with just a slight rainbow here. We can zoom that in. You can see the evidence of the beginning of a halo, and the presence of light had dropped. Even on the solar collectors for generating power, we'll see a drop of loss of heat there and loss of wattage that these things create. And in this photograph, October 28th, a few days later, we could see the presence of through a chemtrail here, not the cirrus clouds, okay? We only see it right here, okay? If this would have been any kind of a halo, where are the rest of the colors? Where are the other rainbow colors? If this is ice, okay? Ice would diffract all the 7 colors of the rainbow. And why is it stopped right there? Because it's very faint, the lack of light appearing on the sun, and we can almost make it out on this. Anyway, let's go on to the next day, November 3rd. We see a trace of it on the right side. See this reddish planetary atmospheric light coming through here. Again, it is a huge halo, but it's very subtle as this thing is coming in day after day. I'd love to take this one because some people say, dude, if planets were that close, we'd be seeing effects on the Earth. Oh, we have been. Check this out. Vortexes, gravity vortexes from the other planet, creating interference patterns. Look at this thing. It's spiraling all the way around. Thought you'd like that one. Again, it's also producing cloud punches, like we see here in this photo. We can see the beginning of a cloud punch here. We can see this lines here and the interference patterns between our planet and the exoplanet, or in the planet that's in its orbit. Again, I'll show that a little later. Again, we still see during a partial solar eclipse, here is a chemtrail and the red planetary atmospheric shadow. It's red. Must be the red planet that's eclipsing the sun at this point. And then in this photograph, this is December 17th, occurring again and again in the same spot. I've also noticed that lately it's like 3 days off and 3 days on, that these will occur like clockwork. Okay, so why isn't this happening every single day? Because the planet's not there. Okay, it's the same cloud, different day. It's not there. It's because it's not eclipsing. We can look at the progression of this thing. This thing ain't too slow. You can see this thing moving through atmosphere. Anyways, I love this one. Now, again, we see the same effect that we're seeing again and again, a loss of light. For the lack of time in this video, we could see the absence. Like, go back and look at my other sun halos, proving that nothing's changing with the ISO setting. The camera has been full view. If there's any ISO changes, we've done it then. We could look at, you can still see the outline of the shadow as it goes back from an eclipse. We can still see this huge movement. And just zoom out your eyes more often and start to see this huge shadow, sometimes two of them, as this thing progresses and begins to move. And as a planet will move, it's not captured in this camera, but what happens is this is going from right to left in this eclipse, and then as it passes, the light from coming from behind the eclipsing planet will now on the left side. So that's the pattern I've been seeing in North America. Or on the north side of the hemisphere of the planet, it starts on the right and then it fades to the left. So this will fade out sometimes, and sometimes at a point you'll see both halos, like we see in this one. So here we have the halo on the right and the left. Let's see what happens when we go through time as this thing transitions. Look at that. Now, how come we didn't have the halo here? You got to be logical with this. There's no other explanation. Go back in time. Look how it passed in front of this thing. Look how the light just shifts from one side to the other. Yep, there you have it. And it's getting bigger. Check this out. So here's a paint program. That's a little fun exercise. Now, this is Microsoft Paint. This photograph was taken, actually, let me re-upload it. This photograph was taken, anyways, one was taken at many months later. Okay, so in this photograph, it was taken on October 16th, 2016. Now, just to show you the size difference, from 300 units to 1150, it's about 850 units. Okay, now watch this. Get your calculators out. We'll do this real quick. So I'm saying that this line here, starting where this from one end of the shadow to the other, we're going to measure this thing from October, 1150 units. I'm not even sure what minus 300, you get 850. Okay. Now we go into, in this photograph, we have January 28, 2017. Now look how much bigger it's gotten. This from 100 units to 1150, excuse me, about 1025, come to 925, from 850 to 925. So it has gotten bigger. Now you trolls out there, go ahead, make up crap, because it's unbelievable. Well, I would like to show you something else on some censorship that's been happening. So if nothing's wrong with our skies, why are they deleting months out of this? Oh, look at this. So if I go forward in time, look at the timestamp here. We got August 18th, 2016, and I go forward the next minute. I jump all the way into October 9th. Can you imagine that? What happened to September? Must have been some fantastic sun halos that we were looking at there and eclipses. So they just skipped. Look at that. From October 18th, it jumps to October 9th. And then it goes back fine in the arcades the whole week. If that ain't crazy enough, look what the editing they've done on this channel. I mean, Addicted Sports over Starburger. Let me just go in the next click. No, excuse me, it was this one. Okay, ready for this? Thursday, October 2nd. We go back in time. Goes back 20 minutes at a time, right? Looks good. Go forward. Watch how much time got skipped off this one. 12 o'clock, 12:30. Whoa, what happened? Did you see that? Thursday the 2nd, Saturday from February. Wow, 9 days gone from the archives. Yeah, you don't think anything's going on? 9 days? What happened to those 9 days? I'll tell you what, I was false saying it was just some phenomenal sun halos is what we're hiding. And I believe now that I've been watching this enough times, I actually believe that they're not worried about the sun as long as it's not going to be eclipsed. But as soon as their eclipse goes near and the sun halo starts showing up, that's when they chemtrail it. So there you go, people. I was gonna show you some pictures of these cloud punches. So it asked a question from the Weather Channel: what punched a hole in these clouds? Well, they got to come up with an excuse. They can't tell you the planets, exoplanets' magnetic pressure is pressing in on ours, causing a vortex. Oh no, they couldn't say that. But I find very interesting that we're going to find those same magnetic interference patterns every time we see this. And in some of these photos, we see the like a light halo right through it because that's where it's interacting with our atmosphere. So there's more lie by the lamestream media. Look at this vortex. What do you, there's no excuse for this. I'm telling that is the planetary vortex, always found with the halos. So, anyways, Chris Potter, please, I like to see the rework this on the physicist thoughts to see what your thoughts are on this. And with the sun halos and with this new NASA picture here, where I believe the light's being channeled into this document, this European Space Agency, ESA, yep, look at all those mirrors. Anyways, copy, like, and share this video. Have a blessed day.
Hi everyone, this is Nibiru Watcher, and I'm going to show you how cloaking device works using lenses. So I've got a red round object hovering in front of a map, and to show you that anybody can do this. So we have a lens in front of it, and if it's in focus then you get to see it, but if it's out of focus then it disappears. See, it's right in front of it.